Captain Jack Murphy hadn't smiled in 3 years, not since Fallujah. The brass said he had extensive combat experience. Civilians called it PTSD. Murphy called it Tuesday. When the Galzor ships appeared over major cities worldwide, Murphy was drinking cheap whiskey in a Virginia bar. The news interrupted a baseball game, and everyone watched in stunned silence as gleaming silver vessels hovered above Earth's skylines like colossal metal jellyfish. "Well," Murphy muttered, tossing back his drink, "at least I won't have to pay my mortgage." 48 hours later, Captain Murphy found himself in a hastily assembled United Nations conference room, standing against the wall behind General Williams. The alien delegation had requested military representatives be present for their announcement. Ambassador Krelax of the Galzor hegemony stood nearly 7 feet tall, with iridescent blue skin and 4 arms that moved with unsettling precision. Through their translation devices, the aliens spoke with metallic, emotionless voices. "Your planet has resources valuable to the hegemony," Krelax announced. "We have studied your internet and determined Earth will make a suitable vassal world." A Chinese general leaned forward. "And if we refuse?" The 4 Galzor exchanged glances that Murphy recognized as the universal expression for "Are these idiots serious?" "Refusal would be illogical," the ambassador replied. "Our scanning technology indicates your most advanced weapons are primitive. Your projectile firearms rely on chemical propellants. Your nuclear devices are crude. Your aircraft require atmosphere." Krelax made a sound that might have been a laugh. "We eliminated such archaic systems 15 centuries ago." Murphy caught the eye of Commander Vrax Till, clearly the military leader from the insignia on his exoskeleton. The alien examined Murphy's uniform ribbons with 6 eyes that blinked in alternating patterns. "You are a warrior," Vrax Till stated. "Marine," Murphy corrected. "Curious. Your combat records indicate your species still engages in direct physical conflict, most inefficient." Murphy's face remained impassive. "We're known for inefficiency." Ambassador Krelax interrupted, pointing to various delegates. "Your species cannot even achieve planetary unification. You maintain approximately 195 separate governing entities. Primitive. The hegemony encompasses 47 worlds under single governance." As the meeting concluded, Murphy overheard the ambassador speaking to Commander Vrax Till. "This species will be simple to incorporate. Their technology is negligible, and they lack unified resistance capabilities. Minimal military action should be required." Murphy caught Vrax Till's eye again. The Marine didn't smile. He never did any more. But he did offer the slightest nod that made the alien commander pause. "We'll see you around," Murphy said quietly. The Galzor's ultimatum came 3 days later. Earth had 1 week to surrender or face species rectification, a euphemism that didn't require translation. The UN Security Council called an emergency session, degenerating quickly into shouting matches between surrender advocates and resistance hardliners. "They have energy weapons that can vaporize a tank from orbit," the French delegate argued. "They've neutralized our nuclear capabilities. What chance do we have?" General Williams looked to Murphy. "Captain, what's your assessment?" Murphy stood, uncomfortable in the spotlight. "Sir, superior technology doesn't always win wars. History is full of technologically advanced forces defeated by primitive opponents." "Examples, Captain?" the Russian representative demanded. "Afghanistan twice. Vietnam. The American Revolution." Murphy shrugged. "Iraq had the world's 4th largest army before Desert Storm. Numbers look good on paper until the shooting starts." The Chinese general nodded. "The captain is correct. The question is not if we can defeat them conventionally, but how unconventionally we're willing to fight." This sparked another hour of debate until the Secretary General called for order. "Captain Murphy, we're assigning you as military liaison to the alien delegation. They've requested a human military representative to process our surrender efficiently." "With respect, sir, I'm not a diplomat." "That's precisely why you've been selected. You've seen enough combat to understand what we're facing. which is how Murphy found himself escorted onto the Gal-Zor command ship the next morning, alongside Dr. Eleanor Wright, a xenobiologist from METI with a reputation for brilliant unorthodox thinking and zero filter. Fascinating exoskeletal structure, she whispered as they followed a Gal-Zor escort. I'd bet my tenure they evolved on a high-gravity world. Is that relevant to killing them? Murphy muttered. Everything's relevant, Captain. For instance, they blink their eyes in sequential pairs. Suggests their visual processing occurs in sections. It might indicate vulnerabilities in peripheral vision. Commander Vrax Till met them in what appeared to be a war room. Three-dimensional projections showed Earth cities, military bases, and infrastructure. Captain Murphy, I've reviewed your military record, 3 tours in active conflict zones, and numerous commendations. The alien's head tilted, yet your forces were technologically superior to your opponents and still struggled to achieve victory. Puzzling. Murphy shrugged. Technology only matters if you understand the fight you're in. An irrelevant observation. We understand war perfectly. The hegemony has conquered 17 resistant species. Dr. Wright spoke up. Commander, I'm curious about these conquered species. Any humanoid? 3 bipedal species. All now productive members of the hegemony. And how long did their resistance last? Murphy asked. The longest campaign was 42 standard days. Vrax Till's mandibles clicked in what might have been pride. Most surrender after the first planetary demonstration. Murphy nodded thoughtfully. Humans might be different. Vrax Till made that strange clicking laugh. Your species has no unified military, no energy weapons, no space combat capability. Your resistance will be mathematically brief. Math isn't everything in war, Commander. An illogical statement from a primitive military mind. Vrax Till gestured to the projections. We will commence precision strikes on military targets in 3 days. Afterward, your leaders will recognize the futility of resistance. As they were escorted back to their quarters, Dr. Wright whispered, He thinks this is a chess game. Murphy nodded. People always make that mistake about war. It's not chess. He watched a group of Gal-Zor technicians. It's poker. The Gal-Zor strikes began precisely as promised. The laser fire from orbit vaporized military installations worldwide. Aircraft carriers melted into the ocean. Air Force bases became glass craters. The command centers vanished. Murphy and Dr. Wright watched from their quarters aboard the flagship as Vrax Till's technicians efficiently marked targets complete. Phase 1 concluded. A technician announced. 97% of identified military infrastructure neutralized. Vrax Till turned to Murphy. Your species' formal resistance capability has been eliminated. When will your leaders contact us to arrange surrender terms? Before Murphy could answer, a technician interrupted. Commander, we're detecting unusual activities. Human military units are dispersing. They appear to be abandoning formations and distributing weapons to civilian populations. Another technician called out, multiple decentralized communications detected. They're using physical messengers and pre-digital technologies. Vrax Till's eyes blinked in sequence. Aims, puzzling. Gather the human military advisor. Guards escorted Murphy and Dr. Wright to the command center. A new alien was present, smaller, with more delicate features and specialized appendages that suggested scientific rather than military function. I am Chief Researcher Plex Tor. The new alien introduced itself. I specialize in psychology and conquest integration. Your species' response is atypical. How so? Dr. Wright asked. Most species, upon demonstration of our technological superiority, calculate the futility of resistance. Yours appears to be adapting in irrational patterns. Murphy shrugged. We're known for irrationality. Vrax Till gestured to displays showing humans abandoning cities, moving into forested areas, mountains and deserts. Explain this behavior. Guerrilla warfare, Murphy replied. It's in the standard playbook when facing a technologically superior force. Unacceptable, Vrax Till clicked. Combat should occur between designated military units in tactical engagements. Murphy almost laughed. Yeah, that would be convenient for you. Plex-Tor moved closer, studying Murphy with obvious fascination. Your military history suggests humans have unusual adaptations to conflict. Tell me, Captain, how many wars has your species engaged in? All of them, Murphy said flatly. We've been killing each other since we figured out rocks make good weapons. Fascinating. Plex-Tor's appendages twitched in excitement. And these guerrilla tactics, they are effective against superior forces. Ask the British about the American colonies. Ask the Soviets about Afghanistan. Ask America about Vietnam. Murphy leaned forward, or better yet, look at your screens right now. The displays showed Gal-Zor ground forces landing near Washington, D.C., moving in perfect formation. Then suddenly explosions erupted among their ranks, not from advanced weapons, but from improvised explosives buried in the ground. Primitive explosives cannot penetrate our armor, Vraxtil dismissed. They don't need to, Murphy replied. They just need to disrupt your nice, orderly formations so the snipers can target your eye slits. As if on cue, several Gal-Zor soldiers on screen clutched at their faces and fell. Impossible, Vraxtil hissed. How did they know our visual sensors are vulnerable? Dr. Wright smiled innocently. Evolutionary biology is my specialty. Plex-Tor's fascination grew visibly. Captain Murphy, your species appears to have extensive experience with conflict, yet you also have concepts like war crimes and excessive force. Explain this contradiction. Simple. We're so good at killing each other that we had to make rules against our worst impulses. Murphy's eyes met Vraxtil's. Things like chemical warfare, biological agents, targeting civilians, torture of prisoners. Without rules, humans get creative in ways that keep our enemies awake at night. Vraxtil scoffed. Inefficient limitations. Not limitations, Murphy corrected. Warnings of what we're capable of. For 3 days, Murphy and Dr. Wright remained guests aboard the flagship while resistance intensified below. Plex-Tor visited them frequently, increasingly disturbed by Murphy's casual history lessons. Your World War II involved how many casualties? The alien asked, appendages twitching. About 70 million, give or take. And this was before your nuclear capabilities? Mostly. We only nuked 2 cities at the end. Plex-Tor's translator emitted a sound like static. 2 population centers? Deliberately? Yep. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Made the Japanese surrender. Yet you classified this as a war crime afterward. Murphy shrugged. Debatable. But we've done worse. Unit 731. The Holocaust, the rape of Nanking. We're creative when it comes to atrocities. Dr. Wright, who had been quietly studying Gal-Zor biological samples under their guise of cultural exchange, interrupted. The Mongols used to catapult plague victims over city walls to infect defenders. Biological warfare, Plex-Tor noted with visible distress. Before understanding microbiology? Humans have always been instinctively good at killing, Murphy said. The Geneva Conventions weren't created because we lacked imagination. They were created because we had too much. Vraxtil entered, mandibles clicking in agitation. Your resistance forces are not behaving according to logical military doctrine. They abandon positions before our strikes. They target our supply lines rather than engaging our combat units. They use civilian infrastructure as cover. Asymmetric warfare, Murphy nodded. When you can't win conventionally, you change the rules. Rules should not change, Vraxtil insisted. The combat has protocols. Says who? Dr. Wright asked. All civilized species understand proper combat procedures. Murphy laughed, his first genuine laugh in years. See, that's your problem. You think war is civilized. Later that night, as Murphy and Wright whispered plans, Plex-Tor returned alone, mandibles twitching nervously. I've been analyzing your military history, the alien admitted. Your species has never unified, yet achieved space travel. You've nearly destroyed yourselves multiple times, yet survived. You create rules for warfare, then find ways to circumvent them. That's humanity in a nutshell. Murphy agreed. Most concerning is your species' capacity for what you call psychological warfare. You understand that fear itself is a weapon? Murphy nodded. The greatest weapon, a scared enemy, makes mistakes. Are your leaders attempting to frighten us, Captain Murphy? Not yet, Murphy replied. But they will be soon. Plex Tor hesitated. The commander believes your resistance will collapse within 10 planetary rotations. I am less certain. Smart, Murphy said. Because we haven't even started fighting dirty yet. When Plex Tor left, Dr. Wright slid over the small transmitter she'd assembled from components pilfered during her research. It's ready. Limited range. But it should reach the resistance forces when we're in lower orbit. Murphy nodded. Good. Tomorrow we give them a real education about war crimes. The escape wasn't elegant. While Dr. Wright created a diversion by releasing the bacterial culture she'd been studying, Murphy overpowered their guards using techniques that would definitely violate several interplanetary rights conventions, if such things existed. They commandeered an alien shuttle, with Dr. Wright somehow intuiting the controls based on her studies of Galzor neurobiology and appendage structure. You're full of surprises, Doctor, Murphy noted as they plummeted toward Earth. Tenure committees are more vicious than aliens, Captain. They crash-landed near what remained of Annapolis, quickly finding the resistance cell operating from the ruins of the Naval Academy. General Williams had established a command center in the underground facilities. Captain Murphy. Dr. Wright. Good to have you back, Williams greeted them. I understand you bring intelligence? Better, Dr. Wright replied, pulling a small device from her pocket. I've mapped their command ship's environmental systems. Their biology is vulnerable to specific atmospheric modifications. Murphy added, and I've identified how their tactical formations work. They're programmed, not adaptive. They can't handle disruption of their command structure. Within hours, human forces worldwide implemented new tactics. Rather than engaging Galzor troops directly, they targeted communication nodes. Rather than attacking gunships, they lured them into areas where atmospheric conditions disrupted their sensors. Vraxtil watched in growing horror as his perfect invasion plan unraveled. Impossible. They're using prohibited tactics. Prohibited by whom? Plex Tor asked quietly. By civilized warfare standards. They're targeting our atmospheric processes. They're using projectile weapons with modified ammunition. They've released engineered atmospheric contaminants that affect our respiratory systems. All things they warned us they were capable of, Plex Tor noted. The final strike came when Murphy himself led a small team back onto the flagship during a diplomatic overture. While pretending to discuss surrender terms, they released a modified virus designed by Dr. Wright that affected the ship's biological interfaces. As alarms blared, Murphy faced Commander Vraxtil across the command center. What have you done? The alien demanded. Changed the rules, Murphy replied. Your ship's life support is now under our control. Your ground forces are cut off from command. Your advantage is gone. This violates all conventions of warfare. Your first mistake was assuming we had the same conventions. Murphy's face remained impassive as he delivered the ultimatum. Withdraw your forces, or we demonstrate what humans do when we're really serious about winning. You would not dare use biological weapons against our homeworlds, Vraxtil hissed. Murphy just stared. We used them on ourselves throughout history. What makes you think we'd hesitate to use them on you? The alien commander saw something in Murphy's eyes that needed no translation in any language across the galaxy. The cold calculation of a species that had perfected the art of war against itself for millennia. 2 weeks later, Captain Murphy stood in the same UN chamber where the Galzor had delivered their ultimatum. Now Ambassador Kree-Lax trembled slightly as he signed the Treaty of Terror. The hegemony acknowledges Earth as a sovereign system, exempt from incorporation, the ambassador recited. All Galzor forces will withdraw immediately. Technology transfer protocols, as specified in Appendix C, will commence within 30 days. Murphy caught Dr. Wright's eye across the room. She'd been appointed Earth's new xenobiological defense director. Her quick thinking had saved millions of lives and secured humanity access to selected Galzor technologies, particularly medical and environmental systems, but carefully excluding weapons. Commander Vraxtil approached Murphy after the ceremony. "Your species is unprecedented," the commander admitted. "We have encountered 47 spacefaring civilizations. None fought as you did. Most species probably develop cooperation before they reach the stars," Murphy replied. "We developed competition. Makes for better soldiers and more dangerous neighbors." Vraxtil's mandibles clicked softly. "The Hegemony Council has officially classified Earth as a do-not-approach system, the first such designation in our history." Murphy almost smiled. "We'll take that as a compliment." As the Galzor delegation prepared to depart, Plextor approached Murphy. The alien researcher had requested and received permission to remain on Earth as a diplomatic liaison. "I've been authorized to continue my studies of human psychology," Plextor explained. "Your species presents a fascinating contradiction. You create rules specifically because you know how to break them most effectively." "The rules aren't to limit our capabilities," Murphy explained. "They're to limit our nightmares. There's a difference between winning a war and becoming monsters. Yet you were prepared to become monsters to win this one," Plextor noted. At this, Murphy finally smiled, a small, grim expression that didn't reach his eyes. "The thing that scares other species most isn't that humans are uniquely violent. It's that we've spent thousands of years getting really, really good at it. We don't just study war, we perfect it." Later, as the Galzor ships departed Earth's atmosphere for the last time, Dr. Wright joined Murphy on the observation deck. "So," she said, "think they'll spread the word about not messing with humans?" Murphy watched the ships vanish into pinpoints of light. "Oh yeah. Nothing travels faster than the news that someone got their ass kicked." "You know," Dr. Wright mused, "for a species that nearly conquered us, they really didn't understand the first rule of war." "Which is?" "Never pick a fight with someone who has nothing left to lose." She glanced at Murphy. "Or someone who spent their entire evolutionary history fighting themselves." Murphy nodded, feeling the weight of his combat ribbons. Humanity's greatest weakness had become its salvation. Our endless practice at killing each other had prepared us for anything the universe might throw our way. And somewhere in the vast darkness beyond Earth, other alien civilizations were about to receive an important update to their databases. Humans, approach with extreme caution.